First one, thoughts on being compared to I think a few people were asking this one. Thoughts on being compared to a young Jakob.
With each setting sun, the whispers grew. Not of ancient kings or dragons of old, but of a different kind of power, a power yet to be unleashed. They spoke of a boy born down under, named Cameron Myers. From his earliest breaths, he was not merely a child, but a vessel, forged by unseen hands for a singular purpose, to challenge the reign of Jakob, the Norwegian prince, and shatter the global records etched in stone. The prophecy foretold his coming, a storm on the horizon, destined to sweep away the old order and usher in a new dawn of dominance. But will the boy, burdened by the weight of a preordained future, truly be able to outrun destiny itself? Find out on the Coffee Club podcast.
Grind your beans and grab your favorite mug. It's Ollie, Morgan, George, and Gus. It's them boys from Coffee Club. Boys from Coffee Club.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club podcast for episode 187. Today, we have a very special show. We have Mr. Cameron Myers. Should be joining us in a little bit. We're very excited for that. Our first minor that we've had on the show, so good to tick a box there.
He got permission from the principal to, we gave him a permission note to join the podcast. Very
and
nice.
The parents, he needed 3 signatures.
We needed 3 signatures.
To allow with the craziness that's going to happen here. But we're very excited to have him on. But before that, there's a bit of other stuff going on. It's not everything in our world revolves around Cam Myers. Some of it also revolves around Jakob Ingebrigtsen and occasionally Josh Kerr. And
Yucky.
ourselves.
Yucky.
Shout out to Yucky. We wish you the best with your injury, with your Achilles injury.
We do.
If you need it, if you need a kiss or anything, we know a lot of people that have lips. In fact, we have lips.
Where are we going with this? No, but one thing that we need to make sure he doesn't stop doing is those YouTube videos. Particularly the car rapping YouTube videos. Keep that up, brother.
Rap more cars.
Rap more cars while you're dealing with this difficult time of injury.
Make more content out of that.
Yeah, keep making the content because it's been quite enjoyable so far.
I actually do like his content a lot. So shout out to him. Hopefully he's back healthy as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned already, if he needs any help with getting healthy or anything, he can just let us know and we'll be there for him in a heartbeat. But moving on. So we're going to preview a few races. It's actually the week of Track Fest, I think it's called. I always lose track of these different sound running names. Pun not intended. But I believe this is LA Track Fest. I don't know if they have a sponsor for it this year, but it's the Sound Running, presented by Sound Running.
Well, if they want us to sponsor it, we could just do it for free.
Well, our preview of the last one wasn't great.
What happened last time?
I don't remember.
We didn't know it was on. So we're really going to make up for it. We're really going to make up for it round 2.
Yeah.
Of sound running
Our
this year.
previews have notoriously not been that good anyway, George, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
I thought that was a good one.
Better than normal, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. A few other things I have in my notes. Grand Slam stealing ideas from Coffee Club. That's in there. So we'll talk about that. It's been conference weekend in the NCAA world. Some very exciting results. But before all that, a little update on the boys. Ollie, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, good. How you doing? Nah, training's been going very well. Definitely at a point in the season where we're pretty far out from Worlds, but the training's been pretty fun and pretty hard, and we're starting to get into some specific stuff.
Close to some big races.
Yeah, close to some big races coming up in a few weeks. And obviously, when you get separated with the mid-D boys and you look at the line in front of you doing reps, it's pretty incredible to run with such talented boys, Mario, Yara, and Robert. It's pretty sick. So I'm excited. Everything else has been going great. I was in Crested Butte for about 12 hours before on the weekend, which was fun for my girlfriend's birthday. We had a fun time. We did Murder Mystery. It's my idea.
Did you solve the mystery?
I wasn't the solve. I was the narrator.
Did they solve the
They
mystery,
did solve the mystery, but they were just accusing everyone. It got to a point where toy guns were definitely out firing caps at people, and fake knives were being distributed. Poison was being administered.
Real poison.
AKA tequila. But I was the narrator. I was the fly on the wall, just facilitating. Which was fun. That was a great time. I'm a bit frustrated with some things right now.
Can I just give context? Ollie has been in a bit of a tizzy, and then he had a sip of the peppermint tea that
Geordie's calmed me down
to us, and he said, "Oh, I really needed
this." Geordie's calmed me down. For the past few days, actually, I've been quite frustrated. And what else can you do but spend time with your boys and drink some peppermint tea?
This came all the way from New Zealand. Actually,
feelings. It's amazing tea.
Oh, that's why it tastes like shit.
Vacuum packed by my mother.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
We love you.
Well,
in a place that looked a lot like weed, but it was.
But it made it through.
But it made it through. I'm not
sure it's not weed.
That could be actually why.
That's why you're feeling.
Yeah,
good.
I was gonna say I'm feeling a lot more relaxed. But
wait, speaking of parents, big birthday shout out to my dad.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to give you a big hug when I see you.
May 19th.
I hope he's having a good day golfing.
Yeah.
Is he golfing?
Probably working.
He's working.
That means you already missed it. It was. Did you tell him yesterday? Happy birthday?
I told him happy American birthday.
Okay.
So you missed it.
What'd you get him?
It depends. Nothing yet. Well, okay, so my mum was here this past week, and I did probably send them a lot of clothes and shoes. I don't know if that counts, though, because that's like pretty low effort, low lift off for us to do.
You're still getting something. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty exposed right now. I'm trying to think. I texted
You mean on clothes and shoes?
Wait, I texted him at 7 a.m. this morning.
What time is that in Australia?
Is that that could technically
it might
still be before midnight.
Is that like by 1? What is the time difference right now?
15?
Oh, New Zealand is 6, so I think you're in the clear.
Let's fucking
by like probably 1 hour.
Yeah, you probably just
Snuck
squeeze
in
it
there.
in.
11 p.m. 11 p.m. Well done.
In there at the last second.
Well, happy birthday, Rob.
All is forgiven.
Yeah.
I know he listens.
Yeah. We love you.
We love you.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, I just dealing with some frustrations, but that's a part of life. And part of dealing with things. You gotta, otherwise if everything was smooth sailing, you'd just, you'd be George. So I'm kidding, George. I know we all go through hardships. Frustrated.
What coffee you been drinking lately?
Been drinking the Verb Columbia coffee.
They have a lot of Columbia right
yeah,
now.
I went in. What I do is, George, I'll go in when I'm like running out of beans, and I'll grab a coffee and I'll have some beans and I'll read my book because I'm currently rereading the last couple books of Red Rising. So I'll go in there, have a coffee, have a read. Sometimes Carlos works there, who's a runner and a really nice guy. He is like so on it with the coffee there. It's unreal. But when I was looking at the thing, I was looking for Ethiopia. I wanted some Ethiopian beans, and it was all Colombian. So, but the Colombian beans have been pretty nice. I've only been having
special anaerobic.
No, I think I just get one of the ones that they use for just espresso. But I've been having one coffee a day. I used to have like 2 or 3, so I've been really trying to drop that down.
Do you think that's why you feel less good?
No, that's not why.
Okay.
Pretty confident on that.
I'm pretty confident on that. Like everything else has been great. Like spending good time with good friends, and everything's been pretty lovely.
Dude, 3-peat on the Sea Burger last night.
Yeah, we've been doing
3 Sundays in a row.
3 Sundays in a row?
Shout out to Sea Burger. We've been every Sunday. The waitress knows us. Like I was there first, and she said,
"Not you again."
She's like, she literally said to me, she said, "Oh, I'll get you a drink while you're waiting. We'll move the tables together." I didn't say a word to her. And she said, "Is that German bloke coming?" AKA Robert Farkin, because Robert has got a
memorable
reputation.
because he orders 3 single patty burgers
instead of Joe Klecker ordering the triple.
4.
And
yeah, he ordered 4 this time.
4 singles?
Yeah.
4 single burgers.
Also, yeah, and
Klecker does the opposite.
He gets the triple. Well, he was the first one
all
to
the
order
patties with only one bun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing is, I was thinking like, wow, that's a crazy way to order. Speaking of Falcon, getting 4 singles, but I was like, I can understand how maybe like the perfect bite for you.
The ratio,
is
I think.
the
ratio.
Like I get a double personally. I'm more of a double type guy, but I can see that it's just really economically not good because it's really expensive to order 4 single burgers.
Yeah, compared to
restaurant.
ordering a double.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert,
he doesn't care.
Doesn't give a shit.
I remember I used to go at least 3x3 at In-N-Out, I think. But mostly I think just because it was fun to order. I don't know.
It just sounded
They were
fun.
also way cheaper than Cheeseburger.
I just heard today that they're opening one in Long Tucky.
No way.
Yeah.
Had to happen eventually.
Out by the Costco or something.
Wait, who is In-N-Out?
Sea burger.
Oh, sea burger.
In and out.
Yeah. No, In and Out. So
Kind of a
do you guys
crazy
know
line.
Hazel's? The beverage place? So I like a beer, but I'm trying not to drink. So I've been drinking Athletic Brewing. I've been drinking some NAs.
Have you had Beero yet?
So this is the thing. I saw it there.
I almost bought some the other day.
I was going to buy it because of Tom Holland, but
Yeah,
then I'm
me too.
thinking like,
Oh, it's his brand.
maybe
Yeah, that
I was
one
like,
he
I would
released.
prefer to wait a little bit because I think it was only the general one. There wasn't the IPA there. I think it was the lager, which I honestly like an NA lager for me. I'm more interested in an IPA, maybe, but it depends. I should try it though. But the reason why I'm talking about Hazel's, the liquor store, is because next to it they have an In and Out pop up that would come in to Boulder.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened a few
I've never
times.
heard about that.
And I've won over and gotten In and Out. And honestly, Geordie, it's the best In and Out burger I've had. Just because it's like outdoor grilling, like I don't know why. It's just so much. It was just so much better than
Does
when
it
I've had it
taste
in
better
Cali.
than a post Red Rocks Chick-fil-A burger?
No, nothing can taste better than a post Red Rock Chick-fil-A burger, particularly
That'll
because
pop
that
up.
burger probably costs like $16.
Yeah, so
It's so expensive. The funniest thing
gets
is
you every
walking out
time.
and seeing like drunk people just order like 4 sandwiches and just like tap their phone. That's how easy it is. And then you look,
Dude.
and then you wake up the next morning and you're probably looking at
You have
your
no money
statement.
left.
And you're like, how did I spend $80 after the show was done? Oh, I bought 16 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and then just threw them to random people. That didn't happen. I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm just saying like an example.
It could happen.
It could happen. But no, everything's been great. Dealing with some frustrations, but that is the way it goes. And what else has been happening? Oh, I'm going to try and get a new car. So if anybody wants to go to my GoFundMe and
He has expensive taste.
I have
so-
expensive taste, I'm ordering a Lamborghini. No, I just got inspired by the Jakob stuff. I want to buy a new car. I actually got inspired
Around it.
mostly by my
Hey,
neighbor who
ever-
bought a new car. So
Oh, you were telling us about.
yeah,
He
very
got
very
some-
very cool car. But
a replacement, or are you trying to be a 2-car owner?
Well, Gus, you could give one to Gus. I
give
guess.
one to, or the CEO probably does deserve his own wheel. But no, I kind of want to get a new vehicle. Or if the tariffs are continuing, maybe I just wait it out and just
Hey, buy American.
Guys, this isn't like an economics podcast, but dude, I'm so scared for those tariffs they're about to hit.
So speaking of the tariffs, just because this is the economic section of the Coffee Club podcast, I was looking into. So I called Land Rover, and I asked them like, okay, so like I want to go in and test drive, and then like they'll take my car, and then they'll give it a price, and then I'll argue the price, and then they'll buy it, and then I use that for credit to buy the car. So I was looking into it because Steve, my neighbor, who's a lovely guy, gave me the number of his contacts, and they were telling me
Having
that
just bought a Defender, correct?
yeah, he bought a Defender V8, but he said get the Octi one, get like the new really nice one. Like the V8 one's pretty good, but he said if you want to like buy something that's going to hold its value, that's really good. Or the V8. But he said you should get in quick because the tariffs, I think they're stopping production with some of the stuff. And I asked him, I said, oh, is it too late to like maybe reserve or get something in? He said, at this point in time, we have no idea what's going to happen with the car prices. It could go up by like 25 to 30%, which is insane.
Yeah, the numbers don't add up. Well, maybe they do for someone, but I was taking a peruse down Pearl Street a few days ago. I already think I told Ollie this. And we stopped by a couple stores. Black Diamond, went to Peppercorn, which is like
Speaking
a
of
cool
expensive taste,
cool kitchen store. And all they were talking about there was like specifically in Black Diamond, they said the tower prices are hitting tomorrow and stuff is going up like by $100. It was like stuff's going up between 20 and 100. And then in Peppercorn, they were talking about how all their electronics are all going up by like at least $100.
So
And they can't carry them in store anymore
No.
because it's too expensive.
you know Arc'teryx?
Yeah.
I went there to get Meg a ski jacket for her birthday. The guy was like, you came at the perfect time. He said in a few weeks, our prices are going to go up by a shit ton. I was like, do you know how much? And he said, we haven't been told yet, but we know it's going to be pretty dramatic, that we're not going to get much business. I was like,
Fucking
far
scary,
out.
bro.
So, and that just reminds us all, go onto the website, coffeeclub.com, if you want to buy
I wonder,
any merch.
are our prices going up? How is the tariffs affecting our merch?
Oh no, I think we're neutral. I mean, how does it affect our merch?
So our last one, well, actually, our one 2 times ago was all made in America.
Mm.
So maybe that one's unaffected.
Mm.
Our other ones, though, I definitely not all made in America, so I can't speak. But actually, the thing is, though, even if something is made in America, the machines that make it is definitely not made in America.
Mm.
So they probably actually still would go up in price.
Do you reckon there'll be tariffs on Diamond League wins?
Yeah.
Like, that's why you got to compete and get
Wonder,
slammed. Because
biggest
slammed is an
sponsor.
American run, American only, Commissioner Gordon run meet, and you're probably getting all that dosh without any tariffs affecting it. If I go run in Rome, I'm probably getting tariffed.
Is that how that works?
No, but I just thought it would be funny.
I believe you.
It'd be funny if you get your check, like you get your little thing from your agent, it's like tariff, like half the, like $5,000 or something. You're like, oh no.
And they take the fee before the tariff.
Yeah, they take the
Smart.
15% before, and then they tariff you.
Smart. So yeah, that's what's going on with Ollie.
Yeah, frustrated, but having a great time.
Driving.
I sound like a prepubescent teen, but
I love it. I love it.
Geordie?
Lovely. You know how I became friends with last week?
Wait, can we have a hint?
Friends, that's a reach actually.
Who became friends with last week?
Who I met.
Kai
I met
Robinson.
and chatted briefly.
Timothy Chalamet?
Kendall
Post
Jenner.
Malone?
No, but he's really cool right now.
Timmy can do no wrong right now, dude. He was he was seen at the Knicks game with two Jenners next to him, going crazy with all Knicks gear on. All the players are high-fiving him and shit. That dude is like
He's for real. He's the real deal.
unstoppable. Unstoppable.
He's the prophet.
All right, close. Coach Carlson. That was just below, right below.
Right below Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet.
that is similar.
And,
How'd that come about?
Did you know that he owns Carl's Jr.? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Yeah.
Carl's Jr. owns Hardee's?
So Joe Hardy owns Sean Carlson.
Or maybe I said that backwards. Whoever owns, they're owned by the same person.
Oh, I was going to say. So
And it's
either
Coach
Joe Hardy
Carlson.
owns Coach Carlson or Coach Carlson owns Joe Hardy.
Yeah. This is the CU coach.
Do
for
they
any
own the
reason.
CU track?
Wait,
Because
shouldn't he have been at conference or something? Shouldn't he have been coaching?
I think he was leaving that day. I was. I should give a shout out because they let us go to the track, which was unexpected. And previously, we were going to drive across the country to find a track with a water jump, but in the end, we just went down the road to see you. And
That's really nice. That's really nice.
Carlson very generously let us. Well, he actually filled the pit up topped it up for me, so it was nice and level.
He topped you up.
Topped it up, yeah. Topped
Nice.
it up.
I'm
And-
surprised at this point Ritz hasn't made his own little water pit.
I'm
Can't be
also
that hard.
surprised by that, and so I did some water jumps. That's the big update.
That's huge.
And Carlson stood right at the end of the barrier, just watching me. It was pretty funny.
Geordie, as I'd say, is a great Kiwi.
Did you get wet? Not very.
Oh,
Well done.
he's ready to go. He's ready to
No.
go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it
You're
here
doing it right.
first.
I had one especially was 99% dry.
Do you want to test like you want to test the spikes to drain if you want to get wet? Do you deliberately do that, or is that just like a thing that I made up in my head?
Yeah, I shower in them.
You shower on them.
Yeah, just every day.
I thought I was the only one allowed to know that. You telling the world about that, George?
No, I trust our engineers.
Swiss engineering.
So that was kind of fun. First time I've actually ever done a water jump in training. Now that I think about it, because we normally train at high schools which don't have water jumps, or at least not normally, right?
Probably
That one's
not.
done.
I don't think steeples happens in high school here in America too often.
Not a lot anyway. So first water jump since the Olympics. Was a little bit nervous, but no, it was actually all good. Did 5 or 6 of them.
Very
and,
nice.
Sucks.
And
Awesome.
and chatted with Carlson,
That sounds awesome.
who was telling me all about all these New Zealanders that are going to see you.
Maybe
Really?
that's why. That's
For
why he
real?
wanted you
Yeah.
there. He wanted you to help with recruiting.
He has one, and apparently some other kid is going. I think
Damn,
Joe
that's
sent
like
it to
half
us.
of New Zealand.
Exactly.
Yeah. What
So-
about any good runners? Or just New Zealanders?
It's no comment.
Oh, actually, speaking of pissing off New Zealand, Morgan, did you hear about our new one of our new staff members for AA?
Yeah.
She was.
Wait, is this
with
public?
Yeah, how did you know? You don't know that yet. You're not supposed to know that yet.
Yeah, but I do, and I'm not gonna say anything else.
Are we
but
allowed to talk about
no,
this?
probably not. But we don't. No one knows who it is. No one knows who it is.
All right.
I didn't say the name, but sucked in, George. That's what I'm gonna say.
Sucked in.
Sucked in. How does it make
I
you
don't even
feel?
know what that means. I think Maya is more upset than I am.
But Maya, I can see Maya being upset about that. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think from that position, I can see it. But
Not to
Yeah.
change the subject, but what were these water jumps in anticipation of?
Good question.
Future water jumps.
Grand Slams opening up the 3K
should we dive
steeple.
into it?
Sound Running Track Fest, presented by
The 10
Sound Running
Slash Coffee Club.
/ Coffee Club.
Potentially.
Oh yeah,
Not
are we the title sponsor?
Not officially.
Not officially.
We could just probably put that in there when we
the
talk
amount of
about it, though.
advertising we do for them, we are the title sponsor.
Yeah.
And happening in 2 days' time from listening to this podcast
From Coffee Club Day.
Coffee Club Day in LA at the famous Occidental College, which everyone tells me is a great place to run. Having never run there myself, I'm looking forward to it.
It's a big egg.
I think I speak for all of our Coffee Club fans, including myself, in asking you this very, very important question, George, leading into this race. Hair up or hair down?
Always half up.
Half up.
down.
All right,
What do
so
you
we're going in
mean?
between. I wasn't sure if you want to go with the
Dude,
headband
World
with the hair
Champs is in
down. Or
fucking Japan this year, bro. Get with it.
Come on.
you going to do
It's
the
the year
samurai?
of the samurai.
I didn't know if he was testing. He might have been testing out a few different things.
I've been concerned that your hair is not looking enough like a samurai, actually, Ollie.
I'm way off the
I
samurai.
was looking to bring that up at some point. Thanks for bringing it up.
What, that my hair's not samurai hair?
Dude, World Champs is in Japan right now this year. Get with it.
Dude, we need those headbands from the summit.
Dude, we do need some headbands.
Your hair's
Sure,
looking
that
more
is.
samurai than mine, to be honest.
Your
But
hair
if you-
actually looks kind of Japanese because they do like the platinum.
Yeah.
They do
But
do the
if I
platinum.
wear a
Yeah.
headband with the platinum hair, they'd probably
That'd
be like,
sick.
Yeah, that could work, actually.
maybe I'll just do that.
That could work really well.
And then the glasses.
Completes the look.
Yeah,
Shout
absolutely.
out Oakley.
So late Saturday night. We're actually the last event. We're like 9:30 Saturday.
It's
If
a
you're
nice
in
time to
LA,
race.
come out. Do you have to pay for Sound Running?
I assume so.
Probably do.
Unless you watch it from outside the fence.
But you could easily jump the fence, I'm sure.
Although we don't encourage that. We
Not allowed to
definitely,
say
Oh
that.
yeah.
we definitely don't encourage that. However, you know, you can if you want.
If it's that or not, come watch me. Definitely that
Yeah.
option.
I was going to say, just don't say that Jerry Schumacher told you to jump the fence. Don't say that Ollie, George, and Morgan told you to jump
True.
the fence.
Put that
True.
one on Jerry.
That's-
Actually, no, just walk to the door and say, Jerry said he would pay for this. Put this on Jerry's tab. And that should get you in automatically.
I can't wait to get sued by Jerry Schumacher. at some-
He said he was going to cover this.
Yeah,
one
he said he was
for
going to
us.
cover that one.
For the good of the sport.
Yeah.
Who else is racing in the steeple? Do we know?
Kung Fu? No, not.
Kung Fu Kenny. Kung Fu Kenny.
Dude, I was just thinking about him when we talked about
I did,
headband.
so did
I was like,
That immediately in my head, I was thinking Kung Fu Kenny. What we need a different nickname for.
To be fair, I just want to, on a side note, and I know this is completely off topic, that is a good-looking man, Kung Fu Kenny.
Yeah,
I reckon he's one of the best-looking men in sprints.
that's pretty on topic.
yeah. No, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to say.
BYU Kenny, what Olympic medal? No, they both got Olympic.
Kenneth Brooks?
Yeah, other Kenny from
Kung Fu Kenneth. Kung Fu Kenneth.
Kung Fu Kenneth Brooks.
Kung Fu Kenneth.
Rook to Queen 9.
Yeah,
Rook
I was
Queen
trying to
9.
think of a chess one as well.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olympic silver medalist.
Dude, he fucking just races everywhere. I love it.
He races hard too. He goes hard. So that'd be good to have him in
And
the race.
who?
It's a repeat of 2 years ago.
Mm.
Is it not? Was that the track fest?
Yeah, he
At
won.
the Borsak?
Yeah, at Mount Borsak.
Yeah.
Did he win
Um,
Mount Borsak? Wait, you were second.
second.
That's
Yeah.
just-
You beat closed down. You're freaking.
That I didn't know who.
No one knew who he was.
No
at that
one knew.
point.
I didn't know who he was. Not. I probably that was only my second steeple ever, so maybe I wasn't good enough anyway to go with. But he just took off. Like there's some college kids tearing it up, and I don't think he's lost a race in the US since then. Like a steeple, I mean.
Probably not. He's kind of been head and shoulders above.
He's pretty dominant on home soil.
Yeah.
Like 2 US titles in a row and every sound running.
Portland Track Fest.
Damn, that's
Portland
like head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
above the rest.
Yeah.
He is.
Head and shoulders.
He
Head,
just
shoulders.
he has like just an innate ability to run too flat, no matter what, at the end of barriers, which no one else.
So they call him the closer.
Kenny the closer.
Kenny the closer.
No one else seems to be able to do.
Jordy.
Apart from El Broccoli. Wait,
Buck.
Yeah, El Brock.
was he the one? Yeah, he won
El
gold.
Brock did win the Olympics.
That's it.
So that'll be fun to mix it up with Kenny. And also some other good people. Dunk from Jerry Shoemaker's club. Duncan Hamilton,
Dunkin' Donuts, Hamilton.
Pride of the Big Sky, is running. Joey Baggs,
Joey Baggs.
Coffee Club TC. Ed Trippus is on the list. We're hoping
Oceania.
OAC Down Under.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just the usual US suspects.
The US domestic steeplechases have a very good attendance rate of just like a lot of the best guys are there. Like you can count on them being good races.
I think, yeah. Well, there's not very many of them, which tells you something.
Mm-hmm.
It condenses the I don't know, the fields into the only ones that are available.
Don't have an option.
It's basically this and Portland track, and then USA's, I think.
That's it.
Unless you want to go
That just tells me
overseas.
they need to run more 10Ks. I feel like there's not enough 10Ks around, George.
Yeah, we have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think it's gonna take probably something quite fast to win, but not Diamond League fast. So that's kind of the plan. Went straight into the Diamond League last year, and I think it's going to be nice this year to open up in LA, something a bit more chill.
It's a big benefit of how late Worlds is. You have a nice kind of runway.
Yeah,
You can plan out your season in that way. So that'll be sweet. And there is a good OAC showing out of the Track Fest this year.
We got a crew going down there.
On the men's, we also have Mario racing in the 15, which on paper, all these races do look like really, really good, high quality races.
They do.
So everyone's in for a showing, I think. Mario in the 15. We got Dylan and Kai in the 5K. They'll be chasing that sub 13, that world champ standard with a slew of other great runners. On the women's side, Cinta is opening up her outdoor campaign with an 800. Very excited to see her get out there. She's been crushing it lately. And Sage is also doing the 800, and she's been absolutely crushing it lately as well.
Are they in the same? Then are they both in the fast heat?
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet.
I think Sage wants pacing for 149. That's what I heard.
I wouldn't be surprised from what our training has been so far.
So
I heard Cinta also wants pacing for 148. So we'll see who gets the pacing.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to split at 148.5.
Yeah, 148.5.
To make everyone happy.
Sounds pretty good.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
So best of luck to everyone out there.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
I wish I could be out there. I fucking love going. Like I've taken the trip out to Oxy a couple of times. Well, yeah, a couple of times now. Dude, I love it out there. That's like kind of those are the trips that made me fall in love with LA, just going out and racing in Oxy. Especially if you stay, I don't know where you guys are staying. You guys are probably staying at some hotel in the middle of nowhere potentially, but
I think close-ish to the track.
I thought everyone was staying at individual Airbnbs.
You
Just
have to
one
book
each.
them across LA.
You book them all.
George is staying 2 hours away.
And then Tyson's driving the van out and then picking up everybody
That makes sense.
from each individual Airbnb.
That's awesome.
And the van's going to be wrapped with Dathan's face, like the 1984 face. It's just Dathan on the side of the van.
So you know.
So you know that's OAC, baby.
Yeah.
LA is such a nice place to go race.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the shortest travel we do of any meet.
It is surprising
Literally.
we don't go there more, considering.
We try to take advantage of it, I feel like, but
When you need it.
yeah,
We're going to be taking advantage of it a
Go
lot in
last year.
28. I'm telling you that right now, fellas.
hope so.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy to think about, actually.
I know, isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Dude, this tea's just opening up my mind.
Dude, what'd you put in there?
I don't
What'd
know.
you put in there,
What
George's
did your
mum?
mum do?
Don't worry about it.
What did your mum do?
Love that.
Yeah.
Very excited to watch George run the steeple. I'm thinking around 7:45 on a good day, 7:47 on a bad day.
How about an average day?
On average day, I reckon 8:04.
All right.
Checks out.
Deal.
I reckon I can see George running 8:04 with a 56-second last quarter. And then Geordie doing some sort of funny celebration, handstand, somersault spin.
Bring
And
back the
then-
handstand.
Straight away, takes off all his clothes, goes straight to the shower with his spikes on.
I wonder if Mike Smith will be there.
That is a good question.
There are some, Woody's running in the 5. That'll be fun to
Concave?
watch.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Conclave.
Conclave, yeah.
I don't know how else is on his team anymore.
Yeah, it's very transitory
track.
these days. Guess not. Nico's not running.
No.
He's the main one I think of. So that's it.
Well, Luis is running something else.
Is Luis returning to?
I'm pretty sure he's returning, isn't he, George?
How do you know?
How do I know? Because
I told you I didn't know, and I assume that's your only source.
Well, he misheard you.
I'm just saying, this tea has awakened something in me.
It's connected
that
him to
I
Flagstaff. more
fundamentally
strongly.
believe Luis is talking to me right now saying, tell George that I'm doing well. Mike is giving me some good TLC and I'll be racing and getting slammed by Commissioner Gordon.
Amazing.
Well, We'll have to just wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, though. I don't know if that's a premonition or I'm just hallucinating.
Maybe both. So yeah, that's that's the updates. I guess my update is I put another notch in the tally that I got beneath my desk of MRIs for the year. So if anyone's trying to keep up with me,
is that 7?
Just know that I think it's 6 or 7. I really need to check, but I got 2 last week is what I'm trying to say. I had one right before the podcast and I had one later in the week because the first one was not satisfactory. So,
you just enjoyed the first one so much.
Dude, this is my story.
What do you listen to these days in there?
Okay, so in the Boulder one, they don't give you an option. Like they don't play music. They just put the headphones on. The Boulder machine, T1 or T1.5 or whatever, which is like the lower resolution you can get. It was peaceful. I took a nap during it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so nice.
That quiet.
It was definitely loud, but like it was more in the white noise end of the spectrum. And then part of the reason I had to go back was to get a high resolution one. So we went up to T3, which is, I guess, like the highest one you go to. Remember how we were looking up prices last week?
Yeah.
This is probably that 3 million plus range we're talking about now.
All right. So we got to push that one to the new.
Same location.
Different location. They don't have the T3 in Boulder. You got to drive a long way to find a T3 machine.
Where'd you find it?
In Denver.
We can ask on for the budget
gosh.
for that.
So drove there, T3 machine. They did put music on this time, which was nice.
What they play? Fetty Wap?
That's what you get for the extra 2
Fetty
mil.
Wap radio.
Fetty Wap radio.
The extra 2 million gets you radio.
Dude, also, it's like the worst quality music plus. Like I don't know how they do it, but I did request Parcels. Actually, I requested Parcels.
Great band.
I think they use Pandora. I'm guessing, and then the machine started going. I couldn't hear the music at all. It was the loudest machine.
Loud?
It was so loud. Like it was painfully. Like I wanted to move. I couldn't move my arms. I probably could have because they weren't actually in the thing, but I was too afraid to move my arms. And I wanted to like hold down the headphones so I could hear the music and so because it was just hurting my eardrums. So needless to say, I did not take a nap in the second one, and I'm still awaiting my report. But it looks like most likely
all A's,
couple B's. B for bursitis in my. In my glute medius, it's hip pain, pretty much. I mean, I don't really want to say it right now because we're still awaiting the report. So maybe this is wrong, but that's what it looks like. Some hip pain, some bursitis in my glute medius bursa. Typically an injury that you'll see among postmenopausal women, but also occasionally can happen to elite athletes.
Yeah, occasionally
due to running too much.
Yeah.
So those are the nuts and bolts of it. I have pain sleeping on it, so I have to sleep with a pillow in between my legs. I've been trying to cross train a little bit, but I'm trying to actually really let it recover now more because I think I was hitting the bike a little bit too hard last week. So we're just hanging out. I'm hoping just to be back running as quick as possible.
How's it sitting down?
Sitting down, like it doesn't hurt sitting down, but it's one of those injuries that like when you, after sitting is not good for it because anything that compresses that area, which like fucking everything you do compresses that area apparently.
Yeah.
Like when you stand up, you'll feel it a little bit more and then it'll like loosen up and be fine. It hasn't been like, I don't mind sitting with it that much. Like it hasn't been that painful or anything, but yeah, I think it's actually like not that uncommon of a running injury for just a classic overuse thing, but
well, we're wishing you a speedy recovery.
Yeah. If you need us to move the podcast to a horizontal location,
we can do like a shrink thing where you just lie here.
Like this. I gotta elevate right now.
Or we could just like strap ourselves to the wall or something.
Strap to the wall. We gotta get the Normatec sponsor. Maybe we can get like a specific Normatec studio where everything is getting.
You're actually. I think I have 3 pairs of Normatecs in this house. Like we could theoretically
you could sell those and make some good money.
Let's make it happen.
Well, that too. Or we could just all record in them one day.
We should try that one time.
If they paid us $1 million, we could do that.
$1 million? Yeah. Maybe actually what was it? 1 point.
What? How much that machine cost?
$3
million.
So $1 million each.
Yeah. Then we can have the machine.
Plus a little extra for.
Well, we need a little bit extra for the skin. We need to Coffee Club brand it and stuff like that.
Machine would fit right there, I reckon.
Yeah, it would go in there pretty well. But
why don't we just do the podcast in the MRI machine?
That would be amazing.
Did you ever think about that?
That would be amazing. Morgan, you missed one key thing about unless you're still going with your update.
No, that was it. Well, I mean,
Look at people. I mean, sure, people are watching, but if you're not watching right now, Morgan McDonald got a haircut, and I tell you what,
probably can't tell because I'm wearing the headphones.
Yeah, but
he looks beautiful.
He looks amazing. Everyone's commented on it. Literally, when I saw him, I couldn't stop looking at him in the gym. It's the best haircut you've ever had.
It's one of those things where you get a bunch of people talking about it. You're like, wow, how ugly was I before? That it's like such a noticeable difference.
Your hair was crazy. It was. It wasn't.
It's just
bad.
like I don't look after it well enough.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Every morning, it's like
talking to Cinta was like, it's pretty crazy right now. He needs to get a haircut. And I said to her, I said, well, that's kind of the vibe. Getting a bit crazy. She's like, yeah, but he just needs to like tidy it up a little bit. And then you got a haircut. And might I say,
you didn't see him.
Job.
You didn't see him.
I wouldn't see him
on the same day.
I didn't see him the first day.
Better.
You should have seen him that day.
It was insane.
It was crazy
because she did the.
Where'd you go?
Secret. Not telling you.
Yeah, you shouldn't tell. That's a good test.
At all.
It's a good test. I got my own lady.
We know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, fantastic.
No
haircut.
secrets with you. we know.
Except that I'm frustrated. You have an amazing haircut. It looks fantastic.
I got to look after.
I
got to condition it or something.
Very handsome. Well, it's very dry here. Unless you do the Geordie method where you just don't touch it.
It is. That's very good.
Don't touch it. Don't even look at it.
I guess I gotta get some slime or something for this.
I'm getting a haircut this week.
From Jenna?
Yeah. That's my lady.
That's your lady. Wait, I'm trying to figure out though. Your hair's not that long.
No, it's fucking long.
I guess because the headphones they're pushing it back.
But it's like it's long.
But just a little race week cleanup.
Yeah, in just summer season cleanup.
Aerodynamics. Ever heard of them?
Have you ever thought of doing the sage? Your sage's haircut. Like
we basically have the same haircut.
Yeah.
Hers is shorter than mine at the moment, I think.
Well, she was telling me at Seaburger the other day, I was like, Sage, have you ever thought about like growing out your hair? And she's like, oh, it doesn't suit me. But one of my great pleasures in life, she said, was literally letting it grow out and then just cutting a shit ton of hair off. I was like, that's hilarious because most women that I know don't like cutting their hair short that much. They like growing their hair out.
We should convince her to do the samurai and then they'll really look identical.
She could do the
she could do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was telling someone else to do it too.
You know what I really want you to get, George? Honestly,
it's just time. It's just been through. I go on right before the wedding in January.
Can I get paid for this haircut? I'll pay Jenna to cut it. I really want you to get bangs. I'll pay like $300.
What do you even have to do to get bangs? I guess you have to cut some of it really short so you can push it down.
Yeah, you need like the front.
That'd be crazy.
So like still this long,
but then just the fringe. Like
you cut the front part.
Imagine Geordie with bangs. That'd be unreal,
dude. You'd look like you were so good.
Fuck, that'd be annoying running. No,
you would hate it, but it would be. It'd be amazing. Maya. Yeah, Maya did have bangs for a while.
Yeah, she regretted it big time running.
Oh God, I'd love it. I'm just thinking about it right now, Morgan.
What do we have to do to make it happen, George? What do we have to do? How much money do we have to raise?
So we have to
get George bangs.
Coffee Club.
I think more than the MRI machine.
What charity are we donating to?
We'll donate to. We should donate to a charity that donates
bad about it.
Sorry.
We should, okay.
It's like when Ollie tried to make us drink Mountain Dew,
and then I just donated anyway. I'm still pissed at you guys about that. I had to donate anyway.
Sorry.
You guys didn't even drink it. I drank it,
and you enjoyed it. You loved it.
Yeah, I drank it at the gala with like vodka or something. It was unreal.
I absolutely loved it. Well, that's my update. And on that note, I think we're going to take a quick little transition moment, and when we come back, maybe we'll have someone to join us.
Dun-dun-dun.
And we're back, and we are joined by Mr. Cameron Myers. Cam, how you doing, and where are you at right now?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm in Flagstaff at the moment, which is a nice change of scenery. Enjoying my time up here.
Nice change of scenery, like from Canberra. Are you saying Canberra sucks?
No, definitely not. I listened to your last week's episode where you had that bean shout out from, where was it?
Piccolo?
Yeah, that's the one.
Piccolo.
Obviously I would have loved to go, but I haven't gone there yet, unfortunately.
You have to. You absolutely have to go check them out. Is that a thing in Canberra, the Fishwick markets?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Okay.
Actually, Rory Hunter, my training partner, lives like right across from there, so maybe I'll ask him to do a review for me.
That'd be epic.
That'd be an epic review from Rory.
So first off, we've been seeing some lovely pictures of you training in flag. It's really nice to see Jai there as well. Like, we're just happy to see him back training and stuff. What is the setup there right now? It seems like there's a lot of Australians there. Is Coach there? Is it? I mean, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, so I suppose AA just sort of like supported the camp here. So I'm actually staying with
Didn't tell us about that.
Obviously, and then with Ish. as well. And then Dick's over here, and a lot of other Aussies are over here. So yeah, we've got a pretty good setup going.
Is Dick running around the track with the shirt off?
Yeah, he's still running further than I am. So yeah, he's winning.
I think for our listeners, it would be awesome to explain who your coach is, Dick Telford, because he's obviously in Australia and down probably New Zealand as well, down under, legendary coach, but maybe not as well known internationally. My last memory of him was during COVID when they told him, Dick, you're too old to travel during COVID. It's too much of a health risk. And he said, fuck that, I'm going to travel. So what's the story with Dick?
Yeah. So Dick's my coach. Obviously, he's got a background in exercise physiology. So he was working with the AIS for a while. I don't think he probably coached there too, but I think he was definitely the physiologist for a while. He's worked with a lot of different sports, but yeah, he's 80 years old and he still works out twice a day.
He's actually 80 years old
at a time.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, I saw Dick. When I was at Nationals, I saw Dick running around the track and shit. I see him running around all the time. Every time I see him at a meet, he's running.
What are his 2 workouts look like?
Oh, he's
Double
can't run fast enough to can't run fast enough to get a heart rate up. So he'll just run up and down a hill, and he'll do that for like an hour, and he'll get the rigs out too.
Yeah, he'll get his rig out.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Man.
Is he in good shape? Does he look?
Yeah, he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
He actually did a lap of my cool down on Thursday. So that was like 450 per kilometer pace. So
that's not bad at all.
It's not
pretty
bad
good.
at 80.
Pretty good.
One thing that we like, just following you and stalking your Strava, the normal things, we've noticed that like your training is very, very modern. So is that coming from Dick, or are you pretty involved in it? Like, we're very impressed at the way that you kind of operate at such a professional level at just 18 years of age.
yeah, so I suppose it's collaborative in a sense, but obviously Dick has is still telling me what to do, I guess. And I guess that sort of modern sort of style comes a bit down to like me not being able to handle, I guess, a bigger training load that he would probably desire. But yeah, obviously he's got a background coaching like 10K runners, half marathon runners. So he's got like obviously a very strength-based program. And I guess we are able to sort of collaborate and make it a little bit more tailored to fit me specifically.
It does seem like he would be a Lydiard.
Yep.
Just a Lydiard prodigy believer.
I feel like he was most famous like coaching marathoners, right?
What is he known for?
Yeah,
Who's coaching?
I guess he's probably worked with mostly marathoners over his time as a coach. He had like Lisa Ondiki, who came second in the Olympic marathon in 1992, I think. And then he's obviously, I don't think he coached Dick Telford, but he worked with Dick Telford and those sort of guys back in like the 80s and the 90s and stuff. So yeah, he's got a very marathon sort of background.
He has coached a Commonwealth Games champion as well. He's coached Andrew Lloyd, who's a mate of my dad, and Lloydie always talks about Dick.
Yeah.
Particularly, he has a nickname for Dick, which...
What's Dick's nickname?
Dick's nickname is Dick Cheese, which is what he calls him. But they're very, very close. And I think Lloydie's one of the only Aussies to win the 1500 up to the marathon at the national championship in Australia. So he's won every single one. So he talks about Dick quite a bit through his training, because Lloydie and my dad, Cam, they run like probably almost every day together, because Lloydie lives in the Shire with my dad, and they always talk about, the good old days back in the day kind of stuff. And he always talks about Dick's training and how Dick was very, very on strength-based work, which was interesting because he won that iconic 5K in Auckland, Georgia. I don't know if you've ever watched that race where Ngugi was the Olympic champ, world champ, Kenyan. He like fell down twice, took off, and then it was a big kick down because he ran out of juice. But Dick's coached some pretty amazing people, and he's still coaching some pretty amazing people.
What do you guys call your team? Isn't there a funny name for it?
Telford.
Oh, it is Team Telford.
That is a funny name. That's hilarious.
You guys have been
Team Telstra. Team Telstra.
Telstra.
Yeah, Team Telstra.
Telstra.
Yeah. You guys just never have connection. All
right, how's Flagstaff though? Truly,
Flagstaff's good. I like it.
Best training place you've ever been, or what?
So what was that?
Best place you've ever trained?
Don't feed it into him, Cam. Don't feed into him. I spoke to Cam and Dick at Maury Plant. I was trying to convince them to come to Boulder, and Dick was so like they were set on Flag so much, and I hate it. I wish he was in Boulder. The coffee's so much better here, bro. You love coffee in Canberra.
You've never been. How would you know?
Because Flagstaff probably has one coffee shop and everyone goes there and it's probably a huge line. It's
where have you been getting coffee?
Single speed. I don't know if it's like relatively new. It's kind of close to Whole Foods.
Neil Gawley talks about that place.
I think it just moved. There's always been a single speed, but I think it used to be closer to downtown, and I think it moved over there.
Their own beans and everything, so like they're pretty legit.
Pretty legit.
If Cam says they're legit, then to me they're legit.
Mate, there's about 4 or 5 places here that roast their own beans on my street. On my street.
You want to talk about legit?
Let's talk about legitness.
You come to Boulder.
Come to Boulder, mate. Next time I'm talking to Dick. I'm taking over.
Yeah, I was actually pretty keen, but Dick was pretty set on flags.
I think he wants you at higher altitude. Yeah, he wants you at high altitude, and also I think it's good for Dick's training as well to be at flag. He needs to be at high altitude to get that heart rate up.
Oh, these guys drive down. Have you been driving down?
Yeah, we drive down at least on a Tuesday to do our session at Cottonwood, and then maybe a Saturday. Depends. It's we did our Saturday session in Cottonwood last week, but not every week.
So are you still on a kind of that classic Australian Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday session days, Sunday long run, or is it different for you?
Yeah, it's kind of hybrid, I guess. Yeah, Tuesday like track session, not huge volume, but just like a little bit of rhythm and race pace stuff. And then Thursday I do a double T day, which is like about an hour of threshold, and then Saturday is like pretty stock standard K reps. I mean, like it just varies based on like the time of the year and where we're sort of at with training, like 6 to 8 of them. And then I guess if we're closer to races, we'll go faster and have a little bit more rest. And if we're a little bit further away or even in between races, we'll just do shorter rests, more reps. And we'll also do hills on Saturday too. So we'll do like K reps and then hills after.
What more do you need?
Is that what you were just doing in Cam Verde? I saw you just...
except there's not really a place to do hills there. So we're doing like 200 meter reps and then you just finish on like a 25 incline at the end.
I love it.
Good enough.
Just go back up the mountain.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Get the job done. So what, apart from there being an AA set up there, what else is the plan behind being in flag? Are you racing in the US? Or is it
I'm actually not racing here, but I guess I actually wanted to go straight over to Europe and just do like altitude somewhere there just so I could knock out the travel all in one go. But because of the Schengen rule of only being able to spend 90 days in Europe, I've kind of got to like go here instead. So it actually worked out quite well. I think being slightly higher. I don't think anywhere in Europe goes up to 2100. So
could be in Sierra Nevada with the boys.
Sierra Nevada, but that's pretty depressing.
He knows. Have you run into Mike Smith at all there? How's he looking?
No, I actually haven't seen him. He's like a myth.
He is a myth.
He's elusive.
He doesn't
these days.
exist.
He's
He
elusive.
doesn't exist.
Is there like is Swish Track Club a thing there yet? Is there any like vibe of that or not really?
Yeah, well, I guess I've seen like Jess is obviously around, and I guess Mike has his group there, but I actually haven't seen him too much. I guess because we go like Tuesdays down to Cottonwood, and they're probably double T on Tuesday, so they're probably staying up here, and then they do the Friday down at Cottonwood, and Friday is just an easy sort of jog for me. So yeah, we kind of don't really have too many interactions. Yeah,
it's too bad.
What have you been doing to pass the time, Cam? Have you been reading, playing video games, going for a walk? I mean,
I wish I could play video games, but I didn't bring my Xbox over, so
that's tough.
Rookie move.
The day actually goes really quick though, because we sort of run pretty late, like 9:30, and then we'll go to the gym after, and so we won't get back until maybe like 1:30, and then you have a nap and you kind of go run again. So the day goes pretty quick. I mean, yeah, and we spend a lot of time playing cards or at the coffee shop or whatever. So yeah.
What card games have you played?
I play Monopoly Deal a lot.
Oh shit!
Big on that.
Shit! We're gonna have to bring it. We're gonna have to bring some cards over to Europe. I reckon that's gonna be a dangerous.
Well, I have one. So
do you have it, Zach?
So if we see each other at St. Moritz,
it's going down.
That'll be the time to play.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely amazing.
100%.
So this year already, you've achieved some amazing things. I don't think we really need to read out your accolades too much. You're well known for achieving amazing things at a young age. But what's kind of like the roadmap ahead? One thing that we've been really impressed about, we've already kind of talked about how impressed we are at your professionalism at such a young age, and you seem to be very measured in how you plan out things. Seems like you're very patient. And in particular, like for example, this year you didn't go race at World Indoors, and you would have been ranked, I think, number 2, but just behind Jakob going into it.
Yeah, he would have been
right?
number 2. Well, because Neil ran 3:49, which was he would have been ranked number 2.
So what's the plan? Like, is everything for you based around you look at world champs at the end of the year, and then you kind of just working backwards from that? What's kind of like the big master plan behind all these decisions that you make?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. So my manager JT and then Dick also sort of collaborate to make sure that sort of stuff runs smoothly. Obviously, I would love to be just racing week in and week out, but that's not going to give me the best results, I guess. So, yeah, we've just got to kind of pick which ones we want to do, and I guess that just comes down to like the opportunities you're given. Milrose, for instance, was a great opportunity that I was given, and so it was very hard for me to turn down like a Milrose. So obviously I went over and did a couple races indoors, and then for the rest of the season, it's just basically doing enough racing, but not too much racing, and yeah, just having fun with it. You don't want to be one of those guys on the circuit that just only shows up for the big ones and then doesn't show up at the diamond leagues and stuff like that. I think you still have to have some sort of involvement, but yeah, you got to make sure you don't race too much.
So what does that look like this year? What are you confirmed for at the moment?
So I'll be doing, I'm actually doing K first in France, in Paris. So that's kind of like just see where I'm at off of a training camp, not really too much into it. And that's on the 7th of June. And then Oslo's obviously on the 12th. So, it's a pretty tight turnaround, but I think that it should be manageable being only a K. And then a couple weeks later, I raced at Strava. I think Jakob was down for that, but obviously, hearing about his, injury, probably not so likely. And then from there, I'll head over to Tree and then London, and then I'll have a pretty big block of training, and then go and do Silesia, and then probably from there straight on to Worlds, dependingly. If I can get a spot in the Diamond League final, obviously that's pretty awesome, but it's hard because like the Diamond League final is only sort of 2-3 weeks away from Tokyo, so you kind of have to weigh that up and see if that's going to be worth it.
Wow.
Definitely tough with the Diamond League final, because that would be a great opportunity for you. But are you going to?
I didn't hear Grand Slam. I didn't hear you say Grand Slam.
No Grand Slam. Not getting slammed.
No Grand Slam.
No slamming.
No.
Man, what the hell is Membrane doing?
What's Commissioner?
What is Commissioner Gordon doing? All right. But
no, to be fair, they did get in touch with me. I just don't think it sort of suits me where I'm at the moment. At least, I just think I'm a little bit underdone on the 800 side, and I'm a little bit underdone on the 5K side. But obviously now that they've scrapped the 5K. Well, I think they have anyways.
They have for the last 2 meets. Yeah.
It would have been a little bit more appealing had I known that, but I didn't know that one.
No, not even Commissioner Gordon knew that until probably after Miami.
It happened.
But Cam, are you going to? I mean, that's a really cool schedule. I will see you in Oslo.
It's the classic Australian being away from home for 6 months.
I was about to mention with the Diamond League final, if you do get those points, or if you don't, are you going to go from Europe straight to Tokyo, or are you going to go back to Australia? Because I know the travel from Australia to Tokyo is probably a little easier than from Europe.
What's the date? So Silesia's on the 16th, and then I guess I was going to fly into Tokyo around the 8th. So
okay.
I'd have about 2.5 weeks, and it's just whether or not I go up to altitude, or I think Australia has a staging camp in Cairns, which is similar weather to Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's just whether you want to go and do sort of like heat stuff at sea level, or go back to altitude and sort of try and get that sort of stimulus. So I guess that's something that I sort of need to weigh up and sort of see what gets me the best results.
100%. I mean, either way, you'll get good either altitude or heat. I think we would probably be leaning towards the heat on our side. I think Dathan's looking at something in Tokyo, but depends on obviously who makes the World Championship team.
Ollie must be going on his own camp because the rest of us got altitude.
Oh, really? Dathan didn't tell you about it?
Everyone's splitting up.
Oh, people splitting up.
No, I don't know.
Well, Dathan told me we're going into Japan like 10 days out.
I guess for 5K and 3K, like steeple and that sort of thing, heat's a lot more of a factor than a 1500. So.
Yeah, that is true. I think the USA have some sort of setup that Dathan's going to tap into for our team. 10 days out, we'll go into
in Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
So, Cam, just because we've already talked about it on this podcast, we've already talked about everyone's haircut currently. Are you keeping the buzz cut? What are the thoughts?
Well, I did hear last week Jared didn't like my hair.
He doesn't like it. I don't know why. He doesn't like it.
That's what we said?
Yeah, he told me multiple times because he likes your hair long, and I said, well, why do you like the buzz? He's like, I think Jared just doesn't like anybody in buzz. I think he
Oh,
just
I
doesn't like the buzz
forgot
cut.
Yeah.
But
I
so
like
you
the
can
buzz cut.
you can pull it off though. You've got the head for it. Have you thought about
It's
bleaching
nice
it?
and arrow. Oh, I have thought about that, but I don't want to. Like with all due respect, I don't want it to turn blue like you last time.
Mate, that's a good fear to have. That's a good fear to have because if your hair looks blue and you look like an absolute idiot, then you have to run well. Then you have the pressure. You're like, I have to run well, otherwise I look like an absolute idiot. But you won't have that
I
problem.
contemplate getting the razor out and just going full skinhead.
Skinhead?
If it went blue. If it went blue,
If it went blue, yeah.
But
Yeah.
That'd be
you pulled
real
the blue hair
hardcore.
off, to be fair. It kind of matched your on kit last year.
Yeah, but dude, it was tough. I looked like a really poor, simple Millhouse Van Houten from Simpsons. I look fucking shite, but I appreciate that.
We like the buzz.
Yeah, the
We
buzz.
do.
I think the buzz looks good because I feel like when you came off into the buzz era, you've been crushing. So it's definitely good to keep that going, keep that rolling.
Yeah, I think so.
Why not?
And then if I start running shit again, I'll just change.
Yeah, just change it exactly. That's what you gotta do. You
That's
just
the most important part.
It's not my training; it's my haircut. That's the main thing.
That's
Take away.
what they say. We do have some fun Instagram questions that were sent in, and I think it'd be good to go through a couple of those. First one, thoughts on being compared to I think a few people were asking this one. Thoughts on being compared to a young Jakob. Do you get tired of it, or is it flattering? And then also kind of like as a second part, comparisons to Lisan Al Gaib. You can take those one after the other.
I don't even know who that second one is.
Have you seen Dune?
No.
movie?
I think I did a school project on it without watching it.
Well, don't worry about that part. Maybe just respond to the Jakob part then. But all you need to know is that he's prophesized to be like to take over the world pretty much. But yeah.
Well, I guess in a way it's flattering, because obviously Jakob is pretty much the standard that everyone kind of wants to get to, and he's the athlete that I guess everyone's chasing and sort of like pretty much deciding how they want to train and how they're going to beat him, to an extent. So it's nice to be compared to someone like that, but at the same time, I don't really look too much into it. I think it's very much like we're different athletes. We have different strengths and weaknesses, and I think you've just got to be sort of focused on personal development rather than comparing yourself to someone else. I think like progress is not linear in this sport, so it's very hard to compare yourself to someone who's just kept improving year after year after year. Rather, you just got to try and improve yourself, however that comes.
Well,
That's a very good answer.
There's no way this dude is 18.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I was like, dude, if I was 18 into that, I'd just go, yes, cool.
no, I think I'm better than Jakob. What are you talking about?
That's the way I would answer at your age. Holy shit.
You're
That's
wise beyond your years, Cam.
Dude, he is a Lisan Gaib. Yeah.
All right, that actually answered
I'm
both
gonna-
questions.
No,
Dude.
honestly, if you got time, you should watch both movies. They're unbelievable.
Good way to spend your
Okay.
free
Yeah,
time.
if you need to
time,
waste
so-
time. If you need to waste time.
Speaking of your wisdom, we did have a bunch of school-related questions. There were a bunch asking if you were going to Wisconsin, which, no, I'm not biased, but yeah, I think you should go to Wisconsin. But maybe a better way, a different one we had was just like, were you ever planning on going to the NCAA, and what was the story behind that?
Yeah, so I kind of was at one stage. Obviously, I signed to Nike on an NIL when I think I ran 338 at the time. So I guess at that point, it's I think the NCAA would have been very good for my development. And then I sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks later, I ran 333. So it's like it didn't feel like I'd outgrown the NCAA. It just felt like if I kept improving at that rate, then I wouldn't really need it. But then in hindsight, obviously there's pros and cons to both of it. Like, I mean, I think the NCAA does a really good job of getting people prepared to race in championships, whether that's a national championships, whether that's a global championships. I think that sort of racing side obviously is quite important. So yeah, the NCAA obviously was quite appealing, but I think just where I was at and where I wanted to be, it didn't really make that much sense for me.
Yeah, fair enough. 332, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty legit.
That's
How
also-
old were you, like 14?
Yeah, what, 15?
No, I was 17.
17. That was at the Crest.
Oh,
Bankstown,
yeah.
baby.
I ran it at Charlesville first in Silesia.
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
yeah. I do remember that.
Ran in Celestia, then you ran 330 something at the Crest, didn't you?
That was a fast race.
Yeah, I ran 373 at the Crest too.
Yeah.
With
Honestly.
Wyman.
Yeah, that was a crazy race. A lot of Aussies ran pretty quick there.
They did.
Yeah.
There is a couple of questions about your dong. I'm going to skip over those because those are inappropriate and move on to the next one. which was, who do you look he said, oh, fuck. Who do you look up to the most, Morgan, Ollie, or Kai?
Morgan,
said that?
Where's George?
Yeah, you can, and George included. I think it was because we're Australian.
Oh, we're all Australians, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess Ollie probably was the most. You know, I read a good story, so I was actually
It was
at
the
New
hair,
South
right?
Wales short course cross country,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the night before the race, and you won the Com Games gold. The night before the race, the commentators couldn't stop talking about you. I was going around, and it was like lap after lap after lap. I was getting dropped in this cross country race, and I was just hearing your name. So that was
Just talking about the Com Games.
Well, you know what, Cam? When I'm an old melted candle and I watch you win Olympic gold medal, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. I'm going to be screaming, I know that guy.
Yeah. Dude, we've talked about it before, but it is like so sad that we weren't in Australia when you won the Com Games, because it's just like being in America. It's just like, who knows? But that would have been so huge.
Did I tell you what happened to my brother?
What?
He always made betted on it as well, so he all made a shit ton of money. But he was in Newcastle at the time at the pub, and he's like, "Oh, you got to put the Com Games race, because it was like, he was like, my brother's racing. They said, "Oh, who's your brother?" He's like, "Oh, is that ugly looking bloke there with a really bad bodysuit on?" And then I won, and everyone went freaking nuts. And then the bartender was like,
should.
"All right, free beers for everyone." And then Christo did a nudie run around Newcastle, and they locked him out, and he couldn't get back into the pub. Everyone was going absolutely nuts. I was like, that's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
I actually know a couple people that put money on you because your odds weren't that great.
Yeah, my odds
world champ.
Yeah, my odds were shit. And everyone was
that made a lot of money on you.
That was the funniest thing, Cam. People
That's why everyone loves it.
People were texting me to say, "Oh, congratulations!" They were saying, "Dude, I made so much money off you because I just put a shitty bet on you."
Crazy.
And I was like, "Wow, can I have some of that bet?"
Ollie actually tanked that at Worlds.
Yeah, just for the betting odds. Yeah.
Genius.
So
that's kind of the end of our Instagram questions, but I just do want to ask you straight up, like we've already said a few times how you're very wise beyond your years. What do you think is kind of like the reason behind that? It does sound like you have done an amazing job at, you being surrounded by a lot of great people, a lot of great mentors, great coaches. But yeah, what is kind of if you had to, put into words, like, what do you think the reason is behind you being so grounded and so wise with your approach?
I guess probably the biggest thing is just being sort of exposed to that environment, I guess, all the time with training. For a long while, I still am the youngest sort of in my training group, and just having those people around me that have been through similar situations and can draw on their experiences, I think really helps me. And especially having someone like Jai, who I guess I look up to quite a lot. I was pretty young when he first won nationals and went to the Olympics, and I got to sort of experience that in, I guess, secondhand. So seeing all of that, I guess, keeps me grounded in a way. Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's a great answer. Actually, just speaking on Jai, I know obviously he's been going through some pretty hard shit with training and injuries and stuff. How is he actually doing? Is he doing well with training? Is he looking at racing at some point? I know Dick mentioned he was going to try and race him in Europe. How have things been going for Jai?
Yeah, Jai's going really well. He's racing 10 days. So he's racing in Bydgoszcz
nice.
end of the month, which should be good. It's just good to see him sort of back training and racing, and just, I guess that's what he loves to do. So yeah, it's good that he gets to have that opportunity.
He's a very good racer, so we'll be excited to see how he does.
Totally. Any other questions from us?
No, I think, I'm yeah. But he's part of Coffee Club TC now.
Yeah, we can claim
inspired.
him. Cam, we're always so happy to see you out there racing and see you crushing it, and we're so happy that you came on the pod. So thank you so much for joining us today, and obviously we'll be following along with you. Enjoy flag. Say hello to Mike Smith if you see him.
Yeah, if you see Mike
Ollie,
Smith, tell him Olin says hello. If you see Mike,
I'll see.
Yeah,
say hello from me.
Yeah,
and you'll do. Are you guys racing this weekend?
George running the steeple.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, nice. Good luck. I thought I saw Morgan listed as well.
I was listed.
That's a classic Jesse move.
I was never racing because I was already coming back from an injury, and then I also picked up a new injury just last week. So now I'm definitely not racing, but hopefully I'll be over in Europe and see you out in Europe or something. And
we'll be playing Monopoly deal at some point.
That's the goal.
I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you get a speedy recovery, and you'll be back racing pretty
Thanks,
soon.
bro. Appreciate that. Well, have a good one.
All the best, Cam.
Thanks, Cam.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
See ya.
How's that kid 18? Dude, when I was 18, I couldn't even put a sentence together.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Scary.
It all makes sense.
It does make sense for his success. I
and
think
he's
you have to
surrounded
have-
by such good people, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like
He's
there's not
so
many
locked
people
in.
that I would say like you shouldn't go to college, but for him, and like it's similar almost to Hobbs, but even Hobbs had a
gonna say, he
longer
reminded me-
transition period where he
Yeah.
had to refine it. He already has his people,
Yeah.
man.
I feel like he's probably Hobbs, but a bit ahead.
I am impressed by that training system from Dick.
Yeah.
Like
But it's
how dialed they are on effort and lactate and like working out 5 times a week probably.
But it's the way it is like it's integrating the double threshold stuff, which is new, but it is, dude, I miss the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday sessions.
I do miss
They're
doing
just
3
such-
workouts.
They're just such shorter volume
Mm.
sessions.
And you
compared
feel
to
like you
what
get
we
more
do.
out of it for sure.
And it's just like, I think when I came to the US and I started doing 2 sessions a week, I was like, oh, this is way better because it's like I'm running better and I only have to do 2 sessions a week. But there's something cool also about, like, because if you think about what's actually fun in our sport, it's like
Racing.
easy runs. Easy runs are very fun, but
Yeah.
like doing sessions is fun.
I'm always trying to get out of easy runs. I
Yeah.
would love that.
So it is actually like, I do miss that. Maybe at some point we'll be able to go back to that because it was cool.
The transition will be tough for us though because we're so used to just smashing every workout that we need to like.
It wouldn't though because Americans run long runs so hard. Like that's like the
Yeah.
American culture that it's essentially a workout.
Yeah, you take that out.
You just do it
can't go
instead
that
of
hard.
a hard long run. Ollie freaking loves. You love crushing long runs, so
I'm breathing heavily because I do love long runs. I do also love. I do love the idea of like turning a long run into a workout because then it does feel like I have 3 workouts. I get 3 good efforts in, whereas like with the regular runs, like what is the worst runs for you guys? For me, it's doubles. I hate doing doubles.
I actually like doubles.
I don't like them.
I don't like the day after. For me, it's probably the day after really hard stuff, or Wednesday's the day after. a long
Wednesday's
run.
probably our worst day.
It's just like when your body's it's pretty much whenever my body's the most tired.
I'm the most mentally tired on Wednesdays, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I find the most challenging.
Jordy's favorite day.
probably because you crushed the Tuesday long run too hard.
Yeah.
Without carbs.
No, I take carbs. I take carbs.
Swedish.
I do. I take carbs. Swedish fish. No, come on. What do you think I am?
carbs.
Haribo fucking cola bears.
True.
Fair enough.
Wait, you can get beers?
No, I
Cola
mix
flavour?
cola bottles and bears together. Cola
You
bears.
mix them yourself.
Yeah, they're in a little jar next to my Xbox.
Amazing.
Yeah, when I start doing Twitch.
Amazing. But yeah, Cam, Myers, crushing it. Him at Flagstaff, man, that's dangerous.
Yeah, he's gonna run real
Mm.
quick. I reckon tell.
Because they don't have that type
Well,
of
he's
outfit in
1K. The
Australia.
1K he's doing in France. I'm gonna be interested. I reckon that'd be an Australian record attempt, surely, because I think our Australian record's 2:14. Maybe.
Is that the Paris Diamond League?
No, it'd be too early.
No, it's way too early.
I think. Or is it?
I think it's.
I just made that up.
I'm pretty sure. I think it is.
It wouldn't be because Rome is on the 6th.
What did he say? 7th.
Yeah.
I did say 7th.
When is Paris?
It must be later. If Rome's on the 7th, Oslo's on the 12th, it must be
Like 2 weeks
It's whenever
later.
Faith,
1 week
like
later.
Faith's sub 4
or
team.
2.
Oh, dude,
I
yeah,
swear
I
it's
forgot
in
about
June.
that.
Yeah, she's definitely
Hey,
doing
did you guys
it in
get the
June.
call up for that?
The sub 4 attempt?
Yeah.
Too slow.
I can't break 4.
Too slow.
Just her.
too slow. So yeah.
And no Grand Slam. Dude. Well, that's because maybe he would have if he knew.
Yeah,
If you got the
3K
inside knowledge.
A 3K would probably.
To be
suit
fair
him
though,
so well.
I Grand Slam I think has done a decent job, but they still haven't got a lot of athletes that I think a lot of fans would have wanted to see.
Ollie told me
It's the
yesterday,
tough part of it.
whereas I think it's a great move. I think it's the best thing they could do to help secure their future in the sport. Ollie told me yesterday he says Grand Slam's destined to fail and taking out the 5K is really dumb.
I stand by that.
Yeah, I think.
I think taking out 5K was inevitable. I think it's a great decision.
Take out some of the sprints, man. They're so boring.
Okay, this is my question. I don't think you need to take out the 5K. I think they need to have the 1500 5K group, like we said, and race those two.
in 2 days.
I think you could, or you could make it a 3K. I
you wanna hear my
understand that's the same
proposal?
thing, but this is my question that I'm asking myself. Does anyone I don't know how they're measuring this. Is anyone watching like the 200 400 group?
No.
Like who's running in that?
No.
Who's
I couldn't give a
competing in that?
shit.
Who's
Honestly,
we're not,
I couldn't care
you
less.
can't. We cannot be unbiased, so we have to
But that's my question.
That's why you have to phrase it like Morgan. Is someone
Do
watching?
people care about all these different sprint events?
I just don't care. I care a little bit about like the main short sprints, but also like they don't have Shikari, they don't have Noah, they don't have like any of the recurring characters I want to see. Number one, to make the sprints interesting.
Apart from Kung Fu Ken.
Kung Fu Ken is amazing. He's doing great.
Who you love to see.
I love to see.
Looking man.
This has got nothing to do with getting rid of the 5K though.
However, let me finish. The sprints I don't think is interesting. They don't have the players. I don't think it's doing well, particularly for me personally. If I'm somebody that's not into sprints already, if I want to get into sprints, I want to see the top guys competing against each other. 8 and 15 has the Olympic champion, the Olympic silver medalist, and Olympic bronze medalist. They've had the 800 runners coming in and beating them. The 815 is objectively the best.
Yeah, but we don't need to defend
by
that.
far.
We don't need to defend that. We know that.
To make the distance better, they should do off events. They should do the 2K and the 2 mile. That's what I reckon they should do.
What do you like as one-off things, or as 2 races for that group?
I haven't thought of it as one-off, but I was thinking there's 2 races.
In 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah, but
I don't think a 2K would knock Grant Fish around. And I think a 2 mile
wait, so
would also not knock him
they
around.
took out they made it a 2-day meet now, not a 3-day, and they took out one of the events from the distance one. Is it both 3Ks, or is one a 3K and one a 5K?
Both 3Ks.
Oh, so they're just going straight to 3Ks.
Yeah.
See, to me, the 3K and the 5K are synonymous enough that I understand the move to a 3K. The thing with a 3K is, I mean, it could still be super slow, as we've seen. Like they can run very slow.
They ran like
3Ks.
8:17.
Yeah, but then if it's going to be slow, then it's like you'd rather be watching a 3K than a 5K because it's just shorter and it takes less out of you. I don't think it's anything to do with the energy of that. I think it's just time. It's just purely time covering it. I think because it's 14 minutes or 13 minutes or 15 minutes of time covering that event, Michael Johnson thinks, I don't want to waste 15 minutes on this when I can do 5 to 6 races of sprints in the space of 15 minutes. Yeah, I think they could make the 5K work.
But I think they could make the 5K work.
But I think they're going to make those guys run a 1500 for sure.
What, the distance group?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want 2 1500s. That's just confusing.
That's not
Why?
confusing. You just watch the race and you see who wins.
No, I would not want that. Then
Really?
distance. No, because it's not. That's not distance. 1500 is not a distance event. It's a middle distance event.
Who gives a shit about the name?
It's kind of arbitrary.
No, I give a
That's
shit. I
arbitrary.
give a shit about the event. If you're going into long distance and doing a 1500, you're not in long distance. You're doing a middle distance event and a distance event.
Yeah, but you're still just talking about names. Wouldn't it be interesting to see people have to show how good they are across both the 1500 and the 5K?
Well, then I tell you what, the short sprint should do a 100 and 800. Then.
Stop comparing it. Just
No, I am
think about
comparing it
this
because
1500.
They're sacrificing an event and they're not doing anything about the sprints, which is objectively doing worse.
The sprints do a 200 and a 400. Those are very different events.
That's long sprints.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
the name's not important.
The name is important because that's
Is
the category you're in.
Is a 200 a long sprint?
A 200.
Yeah. Is it really a long sprint? It's not that long.
Yeah, it's longer than 100.
But just because the name is long distance doesn't make that 1500 not cool to watch. You call it horse racing, you call it what the fuck you want. It's still a 1500 with the same people. And it doesn't matter what it's
Well,
called.
then I think it's just pointless to run a 1500 for a distance event when you already have the 815 where that's the 1500 and that's an exciting event to do. I reckon you should do an off event. You should do a 2K.
Pointless.
Something
Why
else.
does that matter?
Because I just think it's a waste of time.
You don't think it's just supposed to be entertaining. That's it.
I think a 2K would be very entertaining.
But a 1500 wouldn't be.
No, because we already have a 1500.
That doesn't.
But why does that specifically matter? Because they have the 200s.
Yeah,
Both
again, I
sprint
think
groups.
the 200s is also like just annoying to watch.
But wouldn't it be interesting to see 2 different 1500s play out?
Probably on 2 separate days. You get to watch one 1500 one day, one 1500 the next day.
Well, then just go to fucking Mount Sac and watch the college kids do it for 10 heats.
Well,
That's very different.
that's not a very good. That's not a
I
very
just
good
think
argument.
it's
Is it?
pointless. I think it's pointless to run 2 1500s.
But if you think that they should run a 2K, what's the difference between the two? Like, I agree. A 2K,
2K is
would
more
make
than a
sense.
1500. It's not middle distance anymore. I think it goes more into distance. And
A
it's
lot of
also an
peop-
off event.
If you're calling, like,
It's different. It's a different race. It makes it more engaging. It's harder to It's harder to measure, like for those athletes. So then it becomes more of it can become more tactical. It just become an absolute sprint. Like I think it would just be way more interesting to watch.
really?
Yeah.
A 2K
This is my
than a
opinion too.
1500.
I mean, I know you guys disagree with me. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, but this is my opinion. I think that getting rid of,
Do you think a 2K is always more?
Yeah, I was about to say,
Interesting
why
than a
shouldn't the
1500?
why shouldn't
I
it be
think with the
800
athletes that they
2K?
get in, I think it would be way more interesting. Yeah. because I think it's such a 2K is such a cool. It's like a K. I think it'd be an interesting event to watch. And I think those athletes are so talented. It'd be cool to see what they could run for a 2K and how they run it and how it turns out.
But you could say all that same stuff for 1500.
No, because they all run 1500s and it's always going to be a similar
I haven't
idea.
seen Hagos Gabriel run a 1500.
Yeah, but you can expect what you can get from him.
I
You can expect him running a decently good 1500, which might be a little slower, but they'll have a longer kick. Maybe that's it. Like, that's not interesting to me.
But it's not. Wouldn't the 2K wouldn't be different?
I think a 2K would be different. It's an extra lap, a lap and a bit. They're probably going to have to measure their kick differently. It's longer.
But why do you find the 8:15 group interesting? Isn't it interesting that they're different enough events?
But
for the distance group, you want them to be more similar events.
Yeah.
But the 8:15 group, you think is interesting because they're different events.
But it is middle distance. 800 is a middle distance event.
Name's not important.
Yeah.
How is name not important? That's the group you're in. You're a middle distance athlete.
But they made up the names. No one's called it long sprints before.
And no one's
I'm
called
not
it.
calling it long sprints. I'm just saying that middle distance. That's
It's not middle distance. It's literally called short distance.
Well, I'm not. Okay, I'm just saying it is middle distance. I don't care what they're naming it short distance or whatever. It's called middle distance because that's what it is.
So the name's not important.
No, well then, just forget it. Forget it.
I just we don't get why you wouldn't want Grant Fisher, Luis Grahova, Nico Young, Graham Blanks, all the best guys in the US. You don't want to watch them run top Africans, Olympic medalists in the 5K. You don't want to watch them run a 1500.
No,
Why not?
because I don't find it appealing at all.
Interesting. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, we can.
But the thing is, I think your 2K idea is good, but for the exact same reasons. You know, like I think them running a 2K is the same thing as a 1500.
I want them to run something different than a 1500 because we already have a 1500. I don't like how the sprints are doing all these 100, 200s overlapping.
Are you okay with
confusing.
with the men's and women's group both racing the same events?
What do you mean?
There's two 1500s, men's and women.
Yeah, but that's completely different. That's completely different from what I'm arguing. I'm arguing on a specific men's/women's. I don't want to see multiple hundreds. I don't want to see multiple 200s. I don't want to see multiple 400s. I want them to do different events. That was the whole point.
What about if there's rounds of a 1500 at a meet? Like you have to run two 1500s.
That's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
But that's fine.
That's got nothing to do with what
I
I'm
just
talking
think
about.
these two 1500s would be so different to each other. That's why I don't think it would matter.
I don't think that'd be very different.
The 8:15 group to the 15.5K
I
group.
don't think it'd be very different.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you watch like a person like Graham Fisher or all those other athletes run 1500s with 1500 people, they almost run like very similar to what they'd run in a race with just them in it. I don't think it would change.
I think it'd be so much harder for the 5K guys to run a 1500 compared to the 1500 guys running a 1500.
Yeah, but you're asking like if they could run the same. They could literally run the same.
Do you think the 1500 is the best event at Grand Slam?
Actually, no, I don't think it is. I think the 800 is. I think the 800 is really fun to watch.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll
That's Grand Slam.
See what people think.
How about, because I'm not sure if this was discussed or not, or maybe it was secret, wait, how would they do it? Oh, yeah. One day, 800 guys run 800, distance guys run 3K. Next day, 16-person 1500.
They put everyone in the same
crazy.
1500. I'd be more interested in that than two separate 1500 meter races. 100%. Or even Geordie, like you say, did rounds. 2 races. But then you'd have to put it to a 3-day event. You couldn't do back-to-back 15s.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't work with the scoring.
But 16 field.
No, but you just score it.
1500.
You just have to beat
you mix them.
You just beat your
in.
people.
You mix them in, maybe.
Wait.
But again, it's just the same. It's just be
No,
the
I
same.
think the scoring...
You could just make the scoring
I think you
work.
could just combine the scoring.
You could.
You just have double... No, then it would mean more.
I am a little bit hurt that they would get rid of a distance event, considering that, like, I feel like personally...
I feel like there's a lot more waste in the sprints.
There's way too many shit going on in the sprints that I just don't pay attention to, and I also get frustrated because the top sprinters are not going.
Yeah.
But
that also frustrates me. Marcel Jacobs not there.
But that's besides the point. They had to have it a 2-day meet. That was the first thing. All right, what do we have to take out? 5K. they don't have to take out a sprint to make it 2 days.
No, they don't. But it's frustrating to see
the big thing.
that the 5K is getting sacrificed when I think it's still enjoyable to watch.
I just can't imagine. Like, I just would love to ask sprint people if they're like loving this or not, because it's obviously designed for sprint people.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true.
I'd like to ask Grant Fisher how he feels about them taking $100,000 from him potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably looking after
50
him very
anyway.
well. They're probably looking after him very well.
That's another thing is like Sydney's going to win $100,000. Yes. She's the best. That's just makes sense. But
we're getting Sydney in the 100 next week for her first ever 100-meter.
But
sprint.
it just seems like for the sprints, it's very, very, it's very streamlined towards them. And I think objectively, as being as objective as I can, even though I'm very, very subjective about this, the A15 is the best one to watch.
Definitely.
I think if I was a regular fan of track and field and I had no bias, I think the A15 is the most
I don't
engaging.
think that's controversial. It's the one that has the most, but it has the most like uncertainty about it. That's why, like, that's, you know, when we've talked about the chicken boy league or whatever in the past, like one of the things that I've said that is really important in making it entertaining is you don't know who's going to win. And like, that's what they do really well in other sports is they try and maintain that.
So we got the A15 as the best. What is the second best? Can you think of a group that you think this is definitely the second best group?
Well, I just like distance running.
Exactly. But can you think the
2K,
sprints, have you watched
5K.
any of the sprints and think this is pretty good?
I do.
As objective as you could possibly be.
I maybe the 100, 200.
Yeah.
I like the 100, 200.
Which is also like just what they do at World Champs. They double, usually, the top guys.
Yeah.
So they're doing the exact same thing as what they do at World Champs. Probably obviously more racing and more time in between, but that's not new for them.
Yeah, the 100, 200 would be the next. Like the long hurdles, like I'm not really like that invested in seeing like 400-meter hurdlers racing a 400. The short hurdles, I'm not that invested in seeing them racing a flat either. Even though actually it has been pretty cool, the hurdles, but
it's cool with Tree Cunningham, but without
Yeah.
Grant Holloway, it seems like a bit of a.
This is the thing. They haven't got the best guys, and I think
But they don't have Jakob either, so they can.
Yeah, but Jakob's not the best guy.
Sprinters can equally.
Jakob won the Olympics.
Yeah.
Josh was second, and Jakob was third. They have 1, 2, 3. So that's like why maybe I feel like I'm thinking that it's way more interesting to see how they play out at this time of the year. I just trying to think like how would sprints be more interesting?
Yeah, definitely if they had all the best people. If they had the 3 Olympic medalists, it would
What
be more
about the
interesting.
events? Do you think the events, like if they did an off sprint event or like hurdling, do an off hurdle event? I don't know.
I think the thing is the format is untested and we're seeing it play out now, and it was going to work better for certain things than others. The A15 works so well because every runner that's good at one of those can race the other, but it's like there's a lot of uncertainty about actually how well they will perform in it. And even within those groups themselves, if you line up just the 1500-meter runners and have them race each other in 1500 every time, like the guys that are in Grand Slam, you don't know how that's going to play out either because they're all so good and they consistently beat each other, like Josh, Yard, and Cole. And it's same with the 800 guys. Like they all consistently swap positions as well.
Yeah.
So that one and they're there. It just works so well.
If you were able to
format.
take control of this, say like Commissioner Gordon passed it to you and you call it Chicken Boy League, what would you do? What would you change right now for the next season? Is there anything clearly defining that you're like, this needs to go? Or are you kind of like, well, right now, this is the best that they're
I don't
doing?
know how they're assessing if they're being successful or not with all these different sprint events.
they're going to put out numbers probably and say this, like, we've got all these views or we've got all these.
I think like I don't know how you make it work exactly, but I think it has to be about like as little races as possible and make those races as exciting as possible. I don't know if that's like...
So less races?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much like almost like the Diamond League. Because the Diamond League only has certain races on at what meet, and then they just do meet after meet after meet. Like that's why the Diamond League format's probably doing...
Yeah, but still no, because like the thing is when I watch a Diamond League, I'm not that invested in 80% of the events still. Like I'm just so biased to distance running, or I'm so biased to like, I just don't know how you make it into a good product, but like...
We turn into a league and make people turn up to those races.
Like you just have like you just have more condensed sprint days and everyone has to do the same events. You don't spread people across different events. You have like on the same day, you could have like heats and finals. I don't know. But I just think all the distance, I think the most exciting event is going to be when you have the most people, good people racing each other always. But that's why, like, trying to find a way to make it like almost cross country esque, where it's like there's just one race. Well, there's one men's, one women's, and everyone that's good is racing each other, and you're engaged the whole time because you don't know. It's all the story.
It's literally like what the Grand Slam is in tennis. Like one guy, one girl, best person wins the slam.
Maybe just other sports lend themselves to it better, but I don't know. I think I've always kind of said like I think it'd be so hard to have the same format that works for sprints work for distance running because I think they're too different.
Distance one, sprint one.
Yeah, but it does work for the mid distance. It's just a question if it works for all the sprints.
I guess
like this format works so well for the 8:15.
Yeah, it is.
It works so well for the 100, 200.
But that's the thing is that we are biased to it. But I just.
But it's like then I'm
trying to think objectively about the sprints. And I just don't think it's with not the top guy. Like imagine seeing Marcel Jacobs and Noel Lars and like just seeing those athletes just consistently racing. I know it's hard to get them there with money, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, anything else to talk about?
I think we'll beat that one to death a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good place for us to start to wind this one down. It's been a roller coaster of an episode. Thank you once again to Cam Meyer for joining us. Legend. Member of Coffee Club Track Club now. Yes.
That's a huge signing, honestly.
That's really good for the next 12 years.
we need to get Gauk on and then we're set for at least 20 years.
Up to Brisbane 2032, we're good, baby.
That's genius.
We've got to get Gauk on.
But yeah, best of luck. Everyone check out George's race on Saturday evening.
Yeah, best of luck to George.
Oxy. If you can't get a ticket, as we said, just say Jerry said he'll pay for it. And shout out to the rest of our teammates as well that are racing. We're very excited to see everyone out there.
It's going to be great.
But yeah, that's it. Episode 187. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and for watching and for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, it's Ollie Hall here. Please leave a like, subscribe, and a 5-star review to really help out Coffee Club, and particularly to help out Gus with his expensive taste. Appreciate you all. Thanks for enjoying.